Let me rewind it.
African people stay here, I have Jamaican people stay here, I have white people stay here, I have Spanish people stay here, and I have black Americans stay here. I'm not saying not all black Americans are bad, but the ones that came to my place have been nothing but problems. Only two good ones came here, all of them. Fight late at night, not with me, with each other. They're disrespectful, they're entitled, they're unappreciative, and it is that way because America has spoiled them and give them so much free shit. But I think they could come to Jamaica and get the same free shit out here and be nasty about it. I don't think all of you like that. But because of that, I'm not risking my health and my happiness for people. No short term stay. No short term stay. It's not gonna happen here. I'd rather eat salt and banana and let goats and cows live into my houses than I have people come here and stress me. I would not hate my business because of customers. A lot of business people are miserable because of some kind of customer. Not this place. I don't want my place is drama free.
Hmm. Did you guys see this, hear about this, witness this video previously?
I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. So everybody understands the context of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you think? So Jamaican lady doesn't want blacks at her Airbnb. What you guys think about that?
I feel her.
You feel her?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
I agree with her.
Yeah, because she right. Black people be acting the fuck up. Like we are entitled. Overly, entitled. You go into a whole nother country, why would you disrespect this woman's home? You know what I'm saying? She providing you a service. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like we get into these Airbnbs and shit like that, and we be acting out. We be acting up like it's our own crib, tearing shit up. Like she said, why would you come over there? You on vacation? Why would you come over there acting up at night? You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. You know what I'm saying?
What did she say they did?
Well, she pretty much she didn't really get into a lot of detail. She was just basically saying that they was acting up, in her dwelling.
Do you
So,
think that acting up could have been they had a party or something? Where they was drinking and talking loud?
well, I would say if she's venting to this extent, they was probably acting up, bent, coming at each other's necks, probably fighting and shit like that.
That's what she said. She said they was fighting that night and disrespecting each other.
She says they're fighting, they're disrespectful, and they come off as entitled.
Okay. All right, go ahead, love. You about to say something?
Yeah, so she said black Americans, but I think she said black people and black Americans. But then later on, she was just saying Americans are entitled. And so I can get with that. I think that Americans
so just to be clear, she talking about black Americans.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, 100% black Americans, but because she was saying Americans too, like in other parts, she didn't specify black. But I think that there is an elitist mentality with Americans overall. So I wouldn't just call out black Americans. I think that there's an elitist mentality with Americans overall. When we travel internationally, like we typically don't even try to learn the language of the land that we're going to. I'm not saying Jamaica's a different language. I'm just giving an example. But I think that we believe that we are the best country in the world, and we take that elitist attitude over to the countries that we visit. And I'm going to say Americans overall. I wouldn't say just black Americans. And maybe she's saying that because maybe only black Americans have stayed at her Airbnb because they want to stay in that part of town. She doesn't look like she's in the resort area. She might be actually looks, from what I saw in the video, obviously more residential, but they have the Airbnbs, not a resort. And so maybe the black Americans that she's referring to have only wanted to stay in the residential where the native Jamaican people are. So that's her experience. But I think that if she was to get more of, mixture, she would mean overall Americans.
She did though, love. She compared the black Americans to other nationalities.
I think that she gets more. I think she gets more of the black. Let's say blacks. I can say that. I think she gets more of the blacks in her area, and that's why she's saying that. But I'm saying, overall, my general sentiment with Americans, period, is that there's an elitist attitude. So I'm not going to just relegate it to black people.
So one fact is the well, I don't want to steal anybody's talking points. So let it ride for a second. Gunny, I noticed you made a couple faces as love was going. Did you have something you disagree with?
Yeah, no. Let's focus on Black Americans, and Black Americans, Jewish Americans, Asian Americans, white Americans. We all have different subcultures in this country, and people from other nations, they know that. We know it too. I just think that we just turn a blind eye, and we're all not we're not the same. We're not the same. Black Americans have a way about themselves that people from other nations notice, and they don't want to deal with us. And we can lump ourselves amongst all Americans if we want to, but that's not how they look at us. They don't look at us like they look at us as Black Americans, and we're privileged, we're spoiled, we're entitled, we don't take care of the benefits that we have in this country. And that's specifically to Black people.
Love, you want to rebut?
No, because I said what I said. Like I believe, and I gave the example of why I feel that way. When Americans, that's a complaint. I've traveled internationally to where I purposely have tried to learn a little bit of the language. So when I get to the land that I'm going to, I show them that I've tried to embrace their culture or by embracing their language. And so I know that's one of their biggest complaints, that Americans just come over there just assuming that English is going to be spoken and or understood, and they don't even try to understand the language or the culture. They just like, this is who I am, accept it. So I think it's an overall American issue, not just Blacks. I see, besides that.
And that's why I disagree. I don't think that's their biggest issue. The language barrier is not their biggest issue. The biggest issue for people internationally is the same issue that we have here in the United States. That when Black folks en masse go anywhere, you're going to have certain problems. It's the same here as it is internationally.
It's a class issue, not a Black issue. I think it's a class issue because we're not a monolith. So that's right. That's the last rebuttal I'll give on this. But I think it's a class issue, not necessarily a race issue.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, just in terms of the video contextually, she's talking about Black people for sure. Also, the Chinese are probably the most hated travelers, because their conduct is a lot. I mean, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. They rude. They don't skip seats. They don't skip urinals. It's just a different ball game. So
I would disagree with that. I would say Indians, but that's just based on my personal experience.
Indian probably close second. It's right there. And we out.
Thank you guys so much.